Hello, everyone. Welcome to, I've actually lost track of how many we've done now. It's probably 4 or 5, maybe. Another developer stream here with Rolling Insights. Special guest this time. Obviously, you guys can see on your screen. It is not Steve Kenway. We have one of our development team, one of the go-to guys here. We've got Abel. He's going to help us walk
Hey,
through
everyone.
some super fun stuff. Yeah, Abel. Yeah. Well, welcome to your first developer stream.
Yeah, new face on the stream. Glad
Yeah.
to be here.
It's good. We like to mix it up. Steve's obviously away, and he sent in his second-hand man, is what we're saying here, or first-hand man. We don't know. Abel's going to take us through some changes that we've made, some cool stuff that's coming down the pipe for you guys. I'm gonna turn it over to him. Any questions that you guys have, obviously, for sure, right in the chat. We will try to get to any of them if they pop up. But I'm going to let Abel kind of walk you through some new stuff that we've got going on, and some fixes, and some cool stuff that we've got going on.
Definitely, yeah. Hey, everyone. Abel here. Been working at Rolling Insights a couple years now. I do some work in SportWise, some work in DataFeeds, and yeah, here to talk about a new internal tool we have at DataFeeds, how we built that using Cursor and the data we provide at DataFeeds, and yeah, how anyone can do something pretty similar. So yeah, I will share my screen and just talk about where the inspiration from it came from to start. Let's see here. All right. Just want to make sure you can see my screen here, Caleb.
Yep, we are good.
Awesome. So yeah, basically the main idea here is we built an internal tool for monitoring our games. And this really started off with the current live scores page we have. So this page, accessible on our Rolling Insights site, anyone can check it out. Shows all the live scores we've got going on, games for the day, and it uses the data straight from DataFeeds. So being a member on the team, when we're monitoring all the games, this is the page we currently use just to check out what's going on, how everything's collecting. And really the inspiration for the new internal tool came from this page. I just wanted to make some different changes so it's more focused on internal development and just easier to monitor all the games at once. So yeah, basically, although this page has a lot of great UI for showing the different games, you can see all the names in bold. They each have plenty of space to check them out. You can click on any of the live games or finished games to get some additional data. We wanted to focus on a tool that just made it easier to scan all the games at once and really just make any games that could have any issues just pop out on the screen. So that was really the two main goals. See all the games at once easier, and any issues that are going on, make it easy to catch on the eye. So that's where this new tool came in. This is what we're calling Control Room. It's an internal tool at DataFeeds, and it's basically showing the same data, but just with a new UI. And as you can see, a lot less color going on. It's pretty monochrome, but that was done on purpose. And that way, when we scan through the page, anything that pops out with some color is something we need to pay attention to. So it makes it a lot easier compared to having to read all the different scores. Basically, you can just take a swipe down the page, and whatever catches your eye is something that needs attention. Just want to add a quick disclaimer. These errors here or issues is all just set up for the demo. It's not something live we have to worry about. Yeah, I just want to clear that up.
We were about to get a bunch of people in our customer care channel being like, is the data actually wrong? What are we getting wrong? So thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, don't want to start a panic here. We are in control of what's going on. So yeah, that's really the inspiration. Take all the different games, really wanted to focus on just making them one line each. That way you can just see a ton of them at once. And again, anything that's could go wrong, we catch and we just point out visually. So I could talk about some of the different things we've got popping up on the page. So I think the first one that catches the eye is this big red border here. And this is basically for any games that may be starting late. So here we could see it's supposed to start at 9 a.m. MST. Right now it's 12:07. So in this case, this game is running late and did not start. So we highlight that in red, makes it easy to see, okay, we need to get on this and make sure it's collecting. Another feature we have is if a game's finished and there's some issue going on with the data, it does flag it with this exclamation mark. So you can actually click into the game and it will tell you what's going on here. So saying for player 10.8 or yeah, 108.65, it's missing the player. So you can even give that a quick search. And we can see here, yeah, for this player does not have the player property, which is his name. So we would need to get in and fix that. So yeah, this is really where this page is coming in handy. Takes a lot of those things you would have to manually scan through the data for, automatically catches them and points them out visually, making it really easy to check out.
Really cool. Very cool. How did we manage this kind of thing before control?
Yeah, I will say before this, we did have some automated setups. So we were still able to catch a lot of these similar issues. It would create a ticket in our internal development tools. So that was catching some of the issues. Also, scanning through this,
Right.
be able to see maybe if a game's late. However, it really was a much more intensive process as you'd have to read every single value saying like, hey, this starts at 5. Is it past 5? Hey, this starts at 5:30. Is it past 5:30? So this has really just saved the team a lot of time
Yeah.
scanning through the data.
Helps us and ultimately helps our customers because they get data quicker that way and they get the
Yeah.
correct data quicker that way. Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah, but when we're on top of things, everyone wins. So
Yep.
it really
Definitely.
helps out. Yeah, so this was basically the tool and how we're using it. And just wanted to take some time and talk about how we actually went about building it. I wanted to take a different approach from what I usually do. Usually I just start getting in the code, start typing things out. However, this time, with a lot of the new AI tools, wanted to use Cursor to build it from the ground up. So Cursor is like VS Code, development environment for coding. However, you can integrate AI assistance into building that code for you. So yeah, that's really where I use the tool to just build out practically the entire thing. And the really great thing about that is previously, something like this, I would have to do a write-up for just explaining the concept and then getting approval from the team to make sure everyone's on the same page and this is something worth spending time on, and then taking a couple days to build it out. But now, in that same time as doing a write-up, I could actually just build a quick prototype and then record a video of me using it without burning up any extra time. So it's really great how using an AI tool could just unlock that whole new ability. So really, really found some use out of that. But yeah, getting into the actual tool itself. So basically here on the sidebar, we have an AI chat that you can either ask questions with or just tell it to build out some code for you. So there is a ask mode and a agent mode. Those are the two modes I really like using. And what I like starting with is just describing the project in ask mode, just so that you and the AI agent are on the same page. Basically, I was telling it, hey, we want to ingest an API with sports data, display all the sports data, and then scan the data for any potential issues, late games, if there's any games missing or any games with issues in the data, and what infrastructure do I need for that. So it gave out some options for different ways to build out a website. I'm most familiar with React, so ended up going with that. But really more of a conversation, a bit exploratory, seeing what the options are, and choosing some tech that probably most familiar with. That probably makes it easiest. And then after that, you can just switch it into agent mode and just tell it, hey, now that we have this plan built out, actually get this thing set up. So yeah, it can set up the project for you. So for this, we're using React for the website, built it out using Vite, which is something interesting. Usually I would build out React using Create React App. It was a different environment for that. However, it gave the suggestion, Create React Apps a bit outdated. Vite is the new standard. So even then, got some learnings out of that. So yeah, it's always helpful with its suggestions. So with that, basically, it would build out the infrastructure needed just to start out at the basics with a website ready to run. And then at that point, I'd switch it back to ask mode and just say, hey, how do I run this on my computer now that it's all set up? And at that point, this here, we do have a front end and a back end for the site. So it would spit out some instructions saying, hey, you need to run, I could actually do it here, do npm start to run up the back end. And then for the front end, just do npm run dev. So we'll tell you those instructions, how to get it started. And at that point, you should have the website up and running. So it'll just be a blank site. And at that point, you can actually get started with the project. So what I like to do for projects working with Cursor, working with AI, is really just splitting up the goal in as many small tasks as possible, and really trying to split up the front end versus the back end work, or the UI versus the functionality. So first goal really was just to take the games that we have and display them on the page before we do any sort of checks, any sort of filtering or sorting, just see how the UI looks. And basically what I did there was went to the DataFeeds API using a token, got some data. Actually, for this demo here, we do have a dedicated dummy data file where I just took some of the API data, put it in a file here, and just told it to work with this for the demo. This way we know we have the data we need. So yeah, I always like starting with some sample data. That way you don't have to worry about doing two things at once, building the site out and fetching the data at the same time. Just really helps keep things simpler and set out some clear goals one at a time for the agents. So yeah, took some data like this format here, put it in a file, and then just told it, hey, working with this data, try and display all the data for the different games on the page in a minimal fashion. And what was really nice is it actually handled building out this UI. I didn't tell it to use a grayscale or the different styles chosen here. It really picked it out all on its own. So I was actually really surprised how clean it looked. I thought it was going to be a lot of hand holding and really directing it on what to do. But yeah, it really held its own and built out something pretty nice here. So yeah, basically it built out something like this with just the different games being listed. And then at that point, I then said, hey, here's the actual API endpoint we use from DataFeeds. Just fed that into the conversation and said, every 30 seconds, instead of using this data, I now want you to fetch the data from DataFeeds and work with that instead. So that way, we've now taken that process, broken it up into 2 separate steps. It already knows the UI looks good. It doesn't have to worry about that. It's now just focused on adding the data fetching every 30 seconds. So you can actually see here in the corner, we just add a little timer so you can see whenever it updates as well. So yeah, that was really building out the actual game display for the site. And once that was all looking good, at that point, it's really just using that same process of doing the UI first, functionality second, with the different features we like. So at this point, went back to Cursor and said, hey, now we'd like to actually check the data that we're fetching to see if there's any late games. So just follow that same process. Instead of actually detecting the late games first, I just said, hey, take this data, pick a random game and set it to late. Just add a late property to it. For example, not sure if this is exact wording we use, but you could just say like late is true. And then work with that. So that way, again, we're not actually worrying about the detection of it. We're just worried about the UI first. And then I said, using this, build out the UI for what it'll look like if there is a late game. And so, yeah, there's a couple different options explored with Cursor. And this is what we settled on, just a simple red background, highlighting the time as well. And it seems to catch the eye pretty well without it being too intrusive. So once we were good on this, just took it a step further and said, okay, now remove that sample data we did and focus on actually detecting if a game is late. So just check the current time, check the start times of the game, and it'll see if there's anything that's later than the current time, it'll just add that property. And we already know that the UI is handled. So again, just taking the time to break it down into those clear, separate goals.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah, it does a pretty good job at this stuff. And also another thing I'll add as well is there is a plan mode as well. So if there is ever a goal that seems too large or it's a bit difficult to break down into steps, this planning goal is really great where you can give it something a bit more vague or something a bit more big picture, and it'll ask you questions about what your vision is for it as well, and it'll break down the goal into those clear steps. So yeah, it'll even help you out with that as well.
Very cool. Not just all on your own. You can get some help.
Definitely, yeah. Pretty much everything you could think of. They found some way to help out with it. Really is a night and day difference.
Definitely.
So yeah, with that, that was really the main goals of the site. Display everything in a nice, minimal, clean fashion, and really the main thing we wanted to make sure was there was no late games, so handling that. And then just rinse and repeat that process for any new features we'd like. So really we deployed this, and then whenever we had some new ideas, we would just keep adding it in a similar fashion. So one thing we wanted to do afterwards was, hey, for any final games, let's check the data, make sure that there's no issues with the fully collected game. So then similar thing where it's like, okay, we already have a red border for games with late issues. What are we going to do with games that have issues with the final data? So just fed that into Cursor and see what it came up with. And it just said, hey, why don't we try adding some different badges for other statuses? And this worked out really great because not only does it work for games that have any potential issues in the data, you can just keep adding different badges for different statuses you'd like. So we started out with checking the final game. If there's any, add this exclamation point. Then one thing we built out after that was, if there's any customer care tickets related to a game, why don't we just link that as well? So just like how we took in the DataFeeds API, did the same thing for our customer care portal, threw in the API there and said, hey, check this API for any customer care tickets. there's any related to a specific game, just add it as a badge as well. So now if there is one, you can just see it flagged here, and it's automatically linked to the game in question. So really nice to keep on track of those tickets as well. Yeah, one other one was, if we do have any situation where a game shows up twice, we just have this badge with a D for duplicate. So really just whenever we have an idea, just throw that cursor, see what it can handle. And it's been doing a pretty great job of just handling whatever we throw at it in a nice UI fashion. So now where we started out here, essentially having to go into each game to check out if there's any issues or reading the actual data to see if the game is late or not. At this point, pretty much any status for a game that we need to look into, you can just do a quick scroll and it just instantly catches the eye for anything. So,
it pops up.
Yeah. Hey, we've got some duplicate games. We've got a late game. Got a ticket for this game. Okay, this game's got some issue with the final data. So makes it really easy there.
Very nice.
Yeah. I had a lot of learnings from this project. A lot of things I'll carry forward. Some general tips I'll also impart that I learned while building this is Git, which is used for saving your code, is I think now more important than ever because when you're working with these agents, you don't know which part of the code it's going to touch. It could undo a bunch of work, really. So whenever you're at a point where you like what you're seeing, just create a commit with Git. I do that now probably like 5 times more often than I used to. Just because
learn from experience, hey?
Yeah. You go down one path trying to figure out something, you're in this long conversation, you're like, wait, oh man, it just touched a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know how to undo this. So yeah, super important to just save your progress as you're going. Then other thing as well, when you're describing these goals, sometimes there's some additional considerations to make it actually production ready and for hosting, mainly cybersecurity. So just making sure if you're using any tokens for APIs, those are protected because it's mainly just going to be focused on building out what you're asking. So then it may be a separate conversation about cybersecurity. So just asking, hey, does this follow best practices? Is everything secure? Is this code production ready before you actually deploy anything out on the internet? And it should do a pretty good job at handling those as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the control room built out. Yeah, just wanted to share the process here and just wanted to say that with DataFeeds, we have API locker. Anyone can sign up for a token. Pretty much anyone can do what we did here. It's just using public data from DataFeeds. So yeah, just wanted to share this and talk about our process.
Beauty. Thanks, Abel. Yeah, that was awesome. I do think, like he said, obviously anybody can do this. We're also here to help. Not myself personally. I am not a technical guy, but we do have a lot of people on the team that are always willing to help out. Obviously, we didn't get any questions, but any questions that you guys have, feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. There's a connect with us link on our website as well. Any questions for Abel or myself, the sales team, or anything, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always available for you guys. Yeah, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, Abel. This was awesome. Super in-depth look at things that we're doing to improve our lives, but as well as always our customers' lives. So this was awesome. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Once again, we appreciate Abel. Thanks for coming on, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks for jumping in.
See ya.